unbelievable.
People.
CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Let me ask. Kathy, I think Kathy Anderson might
Ask Kathy.
steer me
Kathy
wrong.
Griffin,
Kathy,
come
what
back
should I
in.
do?
Nipple, 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 nipple.
No, Don.
I love you, Kathy. I love you. You don't want to hear my
I
other
love
do it,
you
Anderson.
too, but we really don't need to see what's about to happen here.
no.
Here we go. Here's the needle. Here's the needle.
Ow!
Oh, the whole crowd. Oh.
That had a big head on it. So, I can't hear
I can't
anything.
hear a thing. I can't hear
a
It
damn
doesn't
thing.
matter.
I know. So,
Seriously, having a moment.
2016 was awful.
You're kind of an anti-resolution
I
guy.
don't really do it. I always live my life to the very fullest. And
Yes, you do.
The thing is, I need a little bit more balance in work life. I may be open to a relationship this year. I wasn't before.
Breaking news: Don Lemon is open to a relationship. Are you gonna ask me?
But to marry you? I think James might have a problem with that, who's standing right over there.
We are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. We assembled here today are issuing a new decree to be heard in every city, in every foreign capital, and in every hall of power. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
An awful lot about blowing up the White House. I'm not as nasty as a man who looks like he bathes in Cheeto dust.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
I'm mad.
Flabbergasted.
Furious.
Regardless of who they voted for.
Did not vote for racism,
for sexism, or for xenophobia.
And since he won, hate crimes are rising.
Women have been attacked in his name.
People of color attacked in his name.
So here's what we ask of our elected officials. No, here's what we demand.
To the extent that Trump pursues racist,
sexist, anti-immigrant,
anti-worker, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic,
anti-environmental policies,
we demand that you vigorously oppose him.
First I was afraid.
I was petrified.
Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
I will survive.
Hey, hey. I like that part.
I will survive! That's a remix, baby.
Shut the up!
love the flow.
69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find
Love the flow.
69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it.
You're fired.
Just to button up one question, did any advisor or anybody in the Trump campaign have any contact with the Russians who were trying to meddle in the election?
Well, of course not.
He is prepared to testify that President Trump, as a candidate, Donald Trump, directed him to make contact with the Russians.
ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah!
Shut the up!
Except Ross misquoted his source, and it took ABC News hours to correct the mistake.
And David, a clarification tonight on something one of Flynn's confidants told us and we reported earlier today.
Ross has been suspended 4 weeks and will be banned from covering Trump when he's back.
Disgraceful that the intelligence agencies allowed any information that turned out to be so false and fake out. I think it's a disgrace.
I am satisfied that President Trump was never wiretapped by former President Obama. It's a terrible thing for him to say. He ought to apologize to the American public. He ought to apologize to President Obama.
He should apologize not only to President Obama, but to the American people.
He probably should apologize, I think, to the President Obama.
And welcome back to Hannity. We are following major breaking news tonight. The Washington Post first reporting tonight, Fox News confirming the Clinton and the DNC. They, after lying for a year, helped finance the research for that fake news anti-Trump dossier.
I'm going to bring back a thick stream of jobs back in this country. The biggest, strongest, steadiest stream you've ever seen. This country will be literally showered with jobs. Because I'm the major whiz at jobs. This will be a golden opportunity for me as president to make a big splash.
And then we have a senior agent assigned to investigate Secretary Clinton's email, helped draft the exoneration letter. Well, we changed the language from grossly negligent to extremely careless. Interviewed Secretary Clinton in an interview I've never seen, and I doubt you have either in your career as a prosecutor. Interviewed Michael Flynn, was actively involved in the investigation into the Trump campaign before the Inspector General found his text. So this agent related to Secretary Clinton and President Trump sent pro-Clinton texts, anti-Trump texts to his paramour in response to being told maybe he is where he is to protect the country from that menace, Donald Trump. He said, I can protect our country at many levels. And then he said Hillary Clinton should win 100 million to nothing. But he wasn't content to just disparage Donald Trump. He had to disparage Donald Trump's family. This is what he said, Mr. Deputy Attorney General. He said the douchebags are about to come out. He's talking about our First Lady and children. This conflict of interest-free special agent of the FBI. And then if that's not enough, he says Trump is an effing idiot. What the F just happened to our country? This is the same man that said he would save our country. What happens when people who are supposed to cure the conflict of interest have even greater conflicts of interest than those they replace?
The Russian thing is just a big nothing burger.
Then why is CNN constantly like Russia this, Russia that?
Because it's ratings.
Honestly, you think the whole Russia is just like bullshit?
Could be bullshit. It's mostly bullshit right now. Like, we don't have any big giant proof. I just feel like they don't really have it, but they want to keep digging.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the president is probably right to say, like, look, you are witch hunting me.
69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground.
What I have here is a copy of Donald Trump's tax returns. We have his federal tax return for 1 year, for 2005. And in terms of what's on here, let me give you the basics. Aside from the numbers being large, these pages are straightforward. He paid $38 million, looks like $38 million in taxes. We got these pages. We got this document today from a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist who's better on financial matters than almost anybody else in the business. His name is David K. Johnston. These pages turned up the other day in his mailbox.
And by the way, let me point out, it's entirely possible that Donald sent this to me.
If all we get tonight is that Donald paid $38 million to America's government, that's a good night for Donald Trump. I'm sorry.
The attack came without warning. 26-year-old Esteban Santiago pulls out his pistol and opens fire. Passengers run for cover as Santiago moves out of camera range through the baggage claim section, where police say he emptied his 9mm semi-automatic handgun and then reloaded once, killing 5 people and injuring 6 more.
A suspect is arrested overnight after a mass shooting in Arkansas. 25-year-old Memphis-based rapper Ricky Hampton is in custody in connection to a nightclub shooting that left 28 people injured.
Barrage of gunfire was broadcast on Facebook Live from inside a nightclub in Little Rock, Arkansas. Panicked clubgoers ran for their lives to get away from the chaos while dodging bullets. Police believe several people got into an argument and gunfire was exchanged, injuring dozens. The youngest victim is just 16 years old. Officials say crime is getting worse in Little Rock. There have been a dozen drive-by shootings in 9 days. Police say there is a possibility that this latest shooting could be connected to the recent wave of gun violence.
16910 means we got shots fired at 4:15 at Route 291, sounded like an automatic firearm.
Copy, code red at 169 Sammy. Do you have shots?
169 Sammy is coming from upstairs in the Mandalay Bay. Upstairs in Mandalay Bay, halfway up. I see the shots coming from Mandalay Bay. Halfway up. We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the fairgrounds.
Shots fired from Mandalay Bay. There's many people down. Stage left. Just be advised.
790 arrived. I'm going to form a strike team, Mandalay Bay and the Boulevard. I need 5 officers on me.
I'm going to sit on the suspect's door. I need everybody in that hallway to be aware of it and get back. We need to pop this and see if we get any type of response from this guy to see if he's in here or if he's actually moved out somewhere else.
Copy. All units on the 32nd floor. SWAT has explosive breach. Everyone in the hallway needs to move back. All units move back.
Breach, breach, breach. They need the radio. We are clearing this room. We have one suspect.
We need the air clear for Zebra 20. They have 1 suspect down inside the room. Zebra 20 has 1 suspect down inside the room.
Can you confirm location of suspect down, please?
Zebra 20 is saying there's 1 down inside the room.
Good evening, and we come on the air at this hour because we are following developments out of Manchester, England. Reports of an explosion at an Ariana Grande concert at the Manchester Arena there. That is the audio right there. It's believed the explosion occurred at the end of the Ariana Grande concert. The video coming in from the scene tonight, you can see concertgoers racing out of the arena in horror. In fact, police had tweeted out before we got these images that they were responding early on to some sort of an explosion, urging people to stay away from the area. They have confirmed multiple fatalities and a number of injured right there at the scene.
And you could hear blocks away the size of that explosion. This explosion coming about 10:45 p.m. local time not only rocked the arena and sent people inside, as you can see, fleeing for the exits, it could be heard right around for blocks around.
Law enforcement identifies the suspect as 66-year-old James Hodgkinson of Illinois. A Facebook page bearing the same name includes photos of Bernie Sanders as well as anti-Trump rhetoric. One post reads, "Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. It's time to destroy Trump and company."
I did have an interaction with someone in the parking lot who asked me if the team practicing was a Democrat or a Republican team. I told him they were Republicans. He said, "Okay, thanks," turned around.
A spokesperson for the American Society of Home Inspectors confirms a James Hodgkinson was a member of the trade association but dropped out in 2015. A few years earlier, a local Illinois newspaper reports that the suspect sent letters to the editor railing against Republicans and tax policies. In this August 2012 letter, Hodgkinson writes, "I have never said life sucks, only the policies of the Republicans." The New York Times interviewed the suspect's brother, who says the 66-year-old was upset over the election of President Trump and went to Washington Washington within the last few weeks to protest.
Why'd you do it, Samson?
Overnight, the accused church shooter in handcuffs and taken to jail. Hours earlier, police say 25-year-old Emmanuel Sampson opened fire inside this church.
Dispatch, this is a level 1 mass casualty incident.
Inside, witnesses say the masked gunman never said a word. Before the gunman shot 6 people inside the church, authorities say he fatally shot 39-year-old Melanie Smith in the parking lot. Police say the 22-year-old usher ran to his car to get his registered firearm and then tackled Sampson, who, in a struggle, accidentally shot himself in the chest. Engel restrained him until police arrived. Police say Sampson, an avid bodybuilder seen here in this Instagram video, is a legal U.S. resident, believed to have come here from Sudan as a child in 1996.
This shooter went into a small-town church in Tennessee, Emmanuel Kingata Sampson from Sudan, and shot up the church, but it was never reported. You never saw a lick of this on television news. Now, this story is from Fox News, but folks, I'm telling you, I monitor all Fox News. Even Fox News barely even gave this any attention on their television shows. And today, when they're all going back, remembering all of the mass shootings that have happened, they mentioned the Vegas shooting, they mentioned the shooting of the young guy that went into the church. I think that was in Charlottesville. I can't even remember. There's so many. Was that Charlotte? I can't even recall the guy's name now either. But they mentioned all these shootings, and somehow they just left this one out. They just magically just left this one out of the Sudanese immigrant going into the church and shooting people. Why? I wonder why they left that out.
Outrage growing at this hour after a very difficult and disturbing video was carried live on Facebook. And this afternoon, hate crime charges leveled against 4 young African Americans after police say they targeted a young disabled white man. You will hear what they said on that Facebook video. Authorities saying tonight he was targeted because of his disability and his race.
This is hilarious.
Tonight, police are using this word, reprehensible, to describe this 30-minute video that was carried live on Facebook. In the video, we are blurring the victim's face. Authorities say an 18-year-old mentally challenged white man is targeted. He can be seen cowering in a corner as he is assaulted by 4 young black adults.
Look at him. Tied up. Smack his Smack his again.
Late today, the 4 suspects charged with hate crimes.
Actions in that video are reprehensible. That, along with racism, have absolutely no place in the city of Chicago.
No, this the ashtray.
The group yelling racial slurs at the victim and making a reference to the president-elect.
Say Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Police say after the attack, the victim escaped his captors, officers spotting him on a cold Chicago street wearing just shorts and a tank top, traumatized and bloody.
He was very discombobulated. He was injured. He was confused.
Tonight, prosecutors in Chicago charging the suspects, 2 men and 2 sisters, with kidnapping, battery, and hate crimes.
I mean, at the end of the day, you just try to wrap your head around evil. That's what this is. It's evil. It's brutality. It's man's inhumanity to man. And
I don't think it's evil. I don't think it's evil. I think these are young people, and I think they have bad home training.
I'm going to say something that's probably not very popular. We cannot callously go about classifying things as a hate crime. Motive here matters. So was this for hate of Donald Trump, the president-elect, because of things that he has said, or was this for pure hate of white people?
White people, what? No.
I am very hesitant to cast these young people as folks who come from broken homes. For all we know, they have a mother and a father who work very good, hardworking jobs, who have instilled or tried to instill good moral values in them, and the young people just aren't listening.
America first. America first.
My fellow Americans, on Tuesday, Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad launched a horrible chemical weapons attack on innocent civilians. Using a deadly nerve agent, Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched. It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons.
You have said that you support this policy. My question is, where does it go from here, and what are the risks?
Well, that's a great question. It's an important one. I think ultimately, I hope that the moment has arrived where in the White House and the administration, and I believe this is the case, realize that as long as Bashar al-Assad is there, you're going to have ISIS.
How would you remove him?
Well, first of all, he has to be removed through a combination of alternatives on the ground that are Syrians, not foreign fighters, not foreign forces.
Are you concerned now, Senator, about a retaliatory strike of any kind?
From Syria?
Syria, Russia?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Syrians don't have the capacity to retaliate against the United States.
And I really believe that we should have and still should take out his airfields and prevent him from being able to use them to bomb innocent people and drop sarin gas on them.
I think Donald Trump became President of the United States. President Trump recognized that the President of the United States does have to act to enforce international norms.
I think that the moment when someone becomes President of the United States is the moment when they first really use American military might.
David was talking about this tough-minded U.S. policy, a show of strength, which is very Trump, and also a show of moral authority, for sure.